This is a HeadGum podcast.
Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. Whoop.
James,
what you doing?
quit.
Bruh, bruh, bruh. And then that's the gunshot sounds.
You ruined the whole thing.
James. Time out, James.
James.
I just want you to know,
What's that?
if we were in an alien invasion, man,
What? I'd be the
and
first
you
to go.
came with that weak sauce,
I'd be the first to go.
you'd be the first to go.
What you mean?
I wouldn't even mourn you if you went first either.
Like,
If it was
What you
that
mean?
week, I wouldn't even mourn you.
No, but
first.
y'all heard
we
my...
over here trying to do
Break. Show them when we were in this thing, though.
whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound. Whoop.
You hear that? Did you hear that? Did you feel it?
I just didn't know how I could contribute.
Yeah, you got to go first, bro.
What y'all was doing was so good. I didn't know how I could contribute.
Would you attack the aliens if they came? If you saw it, what would you do?
Man, if I saw aliens come down from Earth, from the sky,
You'd be so worthless.
I would be so. Wait, stop. Wait.
You'd be so...
Called you worthless.
Hold up. The biggest issue was that they attacked it in the first place. If you're talking about that,
No,
that's
the
why
thing-
I don't.
the
That's
thing-
why I don't know if I would
The
attack.
thing growled at him first. No, what would you do, though?
What you mean the thing
You ain't
growled at
answered
him first?
Braylock asked you a question and you haven't answered it. What would you do?
I mean, I would marvel for a bit. I don't know. I think
it has
I would
teeth and is growling at you. You gonna marvel at something growling at you, James?
I might marvel at it for a little bit.
You getting eaten. He's gone. He's gone first.
I don't know.
You gone first.
gone.
I don't know because everybody that died in this movie was attacking them. There's not a single person that didn't.
They were
What are
chasing
you
people,
talking about,
James.
dude? No, that's not true. Some people weren't attacking.
Yeah,
them.
they were
straight up
chasing.
died.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but I don't know.
James
I think,
gone
I think
first.
someone that marvels at least knows where they're at. I would never be shocked. I would never be surprised. They would never come up on me.
You know what? If we got in an alien invasion, I say we send James out as a decoy and we go the other way. Just send James out to Marvel as we like.
I would
sneak out.
appreciate this.
We sneak out the back.
Because here's the thing. If they wouldn't have, who knows what would have
Do
happened?
you believe in aliens? That's the real question.
We've already talked about this.
Yeah,
and
we
yes,
have.
I
And
do.
we're not going to talk about this again.
Braylock definitely does. He just wasn't. He
No,
doesn't
he
want to admit
doesn't.
it.
Braylock
He doesn't want to
doesn't.
admit it.
Braylock doesn't believe
He's staring
in
at me
aliens.
right now, but he knows deep in his heart that he knows.
Braylock believes that
aliens
the only
exist.
living beings are on this planet.
Get that snitch. Get the strap. Don't give a.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I was left out. I wasn't ready. I wasn't
song
ready.
is
All right,
so
we're doing
dumb.
it one more time. All right,
Okay.
all right. Get that snitch. Get the strap. Don't give a.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wait, my
Why
thing is-
weren't you ready? No. Why weren't you ready that
This
time?
is literally the
I think-
last time we're doing it.
Oh wait, my thing about that one is like I was uncomfortable with the gunshot.
Okay,
and
but
I was like,
That is
part of the song.
part of the song.
So we're gonna
Okay,
do it
okay,
one more
okay,
time
okay.
into the music, and you better
Okay,
do. All right.
all right.
Get that snitch. Get the strap. Don't give a.
blah, blah, blah.
pop, pop, pop.
No.
All right, Nick, play the music.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can't jump.
In Hollywood.
Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Yeah.
Good job, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. You're Little John. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, all right.
Now you went overboard.
Should never encourage
Well,
you.
you said
Goodness
you
gracious.
said it was Lil Jon.
I know. But
What?
Okay, we didn't tell you
Wow.
to do a Little John impression.
how do you?
Okay.
Oh my,
All right.
that's so loud in our ears.
It
right
is.
now.
It is so
It's
loud.
so loud.
Okay, I'm sorry, people at home. I apologize.
All right, I'm Jonathan Braylock.
Wow. You're so disgusting. I'm James III.
And I'm Jerah Milligan.
This is Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood, the podcast where we review films of leading black actors and then discuss them in the context of race. Now, I'm just going to put this out there.
Do it.
Today we are reviewing the film Attack the Block.
Attack the block, baby. That block is safe because you ain't going to attack the block because what happens is they there to protect the block. And that's why you ain't going to attack.
Yeah, don't mess with the block, bruv.
Oh, no.
Don't mess with the block, bruv. bruv.
I hope.
It's happening the whole episode.
No, please.
I knew it.
It's happening the whole episode.
I really don't want
Bruv.
that to.
Bruv.
Wait.
Bruv.
James.
Bruv.
We have listeners in London.
This
please.
is not. I'm just trying to hold up. This is okay for the listeners in London. This is all respect.
Why are you squeaking?
It doesn't
though? You've
sound
been
like
squeaking a
respect.
lot.
This is all
It
respect.
sounds like you're making fun of him.
This
Can you
is
do your
not
best
making
British
fun.
accent right now?
This is not making fun. No, I don't appreciate it because I'm gonna do my best, and y'all gonna still say that I'm clowning.
That is true. That is
Exactly.
very true.
That's
I
why
would
I'm not doing
that
it.
is very-
And I
you're-
just want to say to the listeners at home, I love y'all. I listen to S Club 7 on a regular.
Oh my God!
And some of them that heard this, and some of them that heard
S
this
Club
know what
7.
that is. And I just want to say real quick, Bradley McIntosh is the man. So
Yo, stop it! Stop it!
No,
Stop it!
Don't tell me.
No,
to
you stop it.
Now the British listeners are
Braylock,
going.
you
British
set this
listeners
show
are
up.
going.
You stop it.
I mean, S Club 7. You might as well just have said One Direction.
I mean, the
Goodness.
thing is,
Okay,
but,
but
I'll be
yeah,
honest,
but-
he does listen to this S Club 7. Like, I've seen him post things about this group, and it makes me really sad to know him and have lived with him.
Wow.
You know, it's like it's
okay.
kind of
Okay.
embarrassing.
Now this is something that I may have. I don't know how many of our listeners actually care
Hey,
about S Club
guys,
7.
we are so not
But
having
the-
a discussion.
no,
I
about
tried
S
to
Club
bring it
7.
back.
Those of you
I
that do,
tried.
if you do like it,
Oh, my
just
goodness.
tweet a little hate to Jerah.
Don't tweet.
Because I've been getting mad hate. I get hate all the time. I get hate for everything that I say and I don't understand. I just say genuine opinions. I get so much hate.
Hey,
so if you
hey,
support S Club
hey,
7, I
hey,
need you to just
hey,
say
I mean,
Come
the
on.
people have spoken.
If you don't support S Club 7 and you're embarrassed about James, like I am, just tweet at James III. You're not a human.
been getting that my whole life, so that's gonna roll off. That's gonna roll off like.
Just remember, we're gonna get to the show.
my
But if you
Lord.
do not believe in S Club 7 like James III does, tweet at James III, Black Men Podcast, John the Braylock, Jerah Milligan. Tweet James III is not a human.
Okay, all right. So the movie we watched today is Attack the
Attack the
Block.
Block. Now, technically, we're breaking our rules a little bit.
breaking our-
Kind
a
of.
little
lot of bit.
A little bit.
No,
It's
a lot
kind
of
of
it.
it.
Well, here. The reason I won't say a lot of it is because the movie did have a big production budget. I mean, okay, it was like 13 million
Yes.
pounds because it was made in London. But the thing is, first of all, London doesn't make that many movies, not nearly as many as America does.
Right.
And then two, London doesn't put that much money into its
Right.
You know, it doesn't. They usually don't have like huge blockbusters.
And it was wide release in the UK, just not the US.
Yes, so it was a wide release in the UK, and apparently when it came out in theaters, it was like it opened at number 3 behind like Thor and like some other huge freaking movie.
Yeah.
And it had a good per screen average. That being said, when it came out in America, it was only released in literally 66 theaters.
Well, no
I
one
mean,
knew.
this-
I didn't know it was out in theaters.
I didn't know it was out either.
Now, here's the thing. I remember the reason that I knew about Attack the Block was because I think this is when Facebook first, like when they first started doing those ads
Or that stalked you.
on the wall. It was like the
Mm-hmm.
first time, and I remember there was an ad, and I saw it, and it said this movie, Attack the Block, and I was like, what's this? And I clicked on the trailer, and I watched, and I was like, oh my God, this looks amazing.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know about the Attack the Block,
Break it
first
down,
of all,
break it down.
honestly, you should go watch the movie. And if
Yes.
you don't want it spoiled, which I shouldn't do this, but like stop listening to this.
Yeah, well,
And
no,
go
I
watch
mean,
it.
Is there
I mean,
spoilers in it, really?
we
I guess,
will- we
I
will-
guess-
we will give away
we're
a
gonna
lot
give
of the
some
movie.
away the movie, but like
and I think also common practice though is like if people haven't seen the movie, a lot of people.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it right
I'm
now.
just saying, there's
spoiler
some-
alert! Spoiler
spoiler. I'm
alert!
just saying.
Spoiler alert!
there's some movies where I'm like, whatever, like who cares?
Spoilers!
But there are some
But this
fun
movie, you
twists
should
and
go-
turns in this
yeah,
movie,
and
so
you
we
should
don't
go
want to
watch
give
it.
that away.
That being said,
Listen to this podcast. Though.
the premise of the movie is essentially an alien invasion is happening, but it's happening in the East End of London.
It's Guy Fawkes night, and so there's a ton of fireworks.
I thought you were doing an accent.
I know, me
I'm
too,
bored.
for a
I'm
second.
so bored.
Oh,
with
what?
that.
On the block. It's on the block.
There you
It's
go.
on the block.
There you go. On the block. On
And
the
don't
block.
mess with the block, bruv. But
Oh, so you're not
it's
gonna
on-
do the whole thing in the.
It's on
accent?
Guy. No, not the whole time.
Me and Braylock thought you were gonna do the whole thing in the accent.
No, it's just gonna keep coming back.
Great. All right.
okay.
Anyway, so basically, we follow a little like this little ragtag gang of kids, of teenagers, led by Moses, who is played by John Boyega.
John Boyega.
who you might know from a little film called Star Wars.
I mean, you
The
might
Force
know.
Awakens.
If you don't know who he is, like I understand that.
Or if you watch 24, the miniseries when it came back, he was also a lead on that. But you know him from Star Wars. You're right, John. You're right. You would know him
Star
from
Wars, the
Finn. Finn is his name.
and or F1. Wait, what is it? F1-2. Anyway, who cares? We're not talking about the movie. Listen here now. So yeah, these kids. Basically, the movie starts off with them robbing a woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Starts off with them robbing a woman.
Which
I have
is
a philosophy about why that happened.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to skip ahead. I
No,
have a philosophy about why you saw them be such goons and like rob this woman in particular. Because we'll get to it. But there are certain things that happen to some of the kids in this movie that after watching it, I thought was like kind of brutal, which doesn't really happen in like horror movies, even when it involves kids. But I thought because they had these kids do very like grown things like rob, you know, they were like smoking, they kind of aged out of being children, so it made it okay that since they were thugs and considered bad people, if you will, it made it okay for some of them to be disposed of in a gruesome way.
Interesting.
But we'll get to that. But it's like instantly when I saw that happen, I was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Yeah. I think the robberies for a lot of different reasons.
I think
that's
so,
definitely
too.
one of them. But
And anyway, so basically we follow but literally as they're mugging this woman, boom, this alien basically crash lands into a car. They chase it, they kill it, and then more aliens come and chase after them. That's the whole movie.
that's the whole movie.
And they got to save the block.
and they got to save the block. They're basically
They gotta
like
save themselves.
the alien invasion is happening on the block, and it's masked by the celebration of Guy Fawkes Night. I'm saying the name wrong. Guy Fawkes, right? Guy Fawkes.
Who's Guy Fawkes?
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot.
Also, if you want to watch
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
Oh, wow.
Remember.
Wait, so that's a holiday in England?
Is it actually celebrated in England?
I mean,
that's
why
in the movie it is, but
no, yes, right?
is it
I mean,
celebrated in
it is.
real life? I know in
Yeah.
the movie it is for sure.
I mean, I have never been, but yes.
So
I mean, like I think
here's the thing: this movie has like a 90% of Rotten Tomatoes. It's it's a cult classic. People who anybody I know who's seen it has loved it. I saw it shortly after. I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it shortly after it came out because it was only in theaters for literally 2 months in America, and then they pulled it. And when it came out, I remember any person who I was like, you should see this movie, and they saw it, loved it. So even though technically it wasn't a wide release, it felt like this movie should have been bigger than it was.
Huge. It should have been huge.
So maybe we'll talk about why we think it wasn't huge. But let's first do initial thoughts.
Yeah, so this is a movie that people suggested to me a lot, and I didn't see it. The first time I saw it was like 6 months ago or something, but I remember when I watched it, I texted you guys like 10 minutes into the movie, this is my favorite movie.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. You definitely did.
Like,
It's great.
It's so good. I really like it. I'm a big fan of sci-fi stuff. We all know that I have a big affinity for British stuff. My ass Club 7 fandom.
Hey, stop bringing that
up. No, but that in particular, and then also just
Believe.
like the way that
the block.
Believe, fam.
the way that
The
there's
block
the way oh my god the way that they like weave in like the sort of race and class
Yes, it's
issues
so good. It's so
with
good.
with this sort of overarching like humanity and versus humans versus aliens thing. I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
And genuinely scary. We were just talking about this, but
Yes.
the movie
I mean, I wasn't scared. Though.
man, come on, man.
Listen, I saw this movie. I think around Halloween, and because we were like, "Oh, we got to watch a scary movie." And then I was like, "Oh, there's this movie, Attack the Block, that looks kind of cool." And so me and my roommates watched it with like some friends, and dude, I mean, there's some tense moments for sure.
Yeah.
And like the monsters are like these big wolf-looking black. They're just
jet black.
jet
like-
black with neon glowing
teeth. Oh,
teeth. Like rows of teeth.
Yeah.
And you're just like, damn. Like, and you can't really see them sometimes.
Like,
Like
they're just jet black. They have
they're like,
no
"Wait,
like.
what the? And then they straight kill folk like viciously. But the other thing about this movie is that it's hilarious. Like it's so funny, and it infuses this British culture in a way that's really cool. You're like, oh, okay. Like it's not American culture at all, and you're like, man, this is really cool. I'm really learning something about how people in the inner city live in England. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In London. So that was really cool. And then the acting is incredible.
Oh, so good.
And like you were saying, like it touches on some race stuff, which we'll get into too. And then the other thing was just like it's just a fun movie.
It is super fun.
It does its premise. Like it allows you like anything that you would fantasize about like an alien invasion in London, like in the East End, like it does it. It fulfills it.
Yeah.
You're just like, yep, yes, that's what I wanted. And it does everything. Great.
Yeah, man, I thought it was great too. Like kind of like what you both said, especially what James said. It's like they interweave, especially like some of the things that John Boyega's character says throughout the movie. Like at first, at one point, he's like, who is he talking? I don't remember who he's talking to, but he's like, he thinks that the aliens aren't like aliens. He thinks it's like a plot to like kill more black people in the city. Like more like poor people.
That's late. That's later. In the movie,
it's later, but it's like to me, it's like it's just it's like stuff like that of just seeing. He kind of was like the thug with a heart of gold, if you will, which didn't bother me for some reason in this movie. But I also just love the fact that like they didn't like shy away from anything. They didn't shy away from the fact that like these kids robbed a woman at knife point at the very beginning. Like they showed like why she should be scared of them. And it made them earn the right to be respected. Like it was like it had to be earned. And I was like, that's good because it humanized them in a way that wasn't like forced. Because some of them still were assholes, but some of them were like, hey, we're in this together. She's a nurse. We need her. Like, let's do this thing. And I thought it was great. Even the girls they hung out with, like, you didn't see them that much, but the girls were like, kind of around the way girls. But they even had like such a welcoming quality. Like the one who like had a crush on John Boyega because she saw something in him, and one of her friends even comments on the fact that she saw him as more than just like a thug. It was just nice to see stuff like that, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, man. So basically, after the attack happens, like after the first alien crashes, they like chase this one down. It's like gray looking,
the woman, it's the female.
They
alien.
later on realize that it's a female, but they kill it, and then they're just kind of dragging it around town. And this is actually how we meet most of our characters in the beginning.
Yeah.
So we meet the ladies, the girls.
Yeah.
There was that one moment. That was one of the first moments where I was like, dude, this John Boyega kid is something else. Like he was basically not even saying anything.
Yeah.
And like all the other ones are talking like they're like blah blah blah, yeah, we did this, yeah, we're awesome, blah. And so the one like, what's her name? The one that likes John.
Oh, John.
Who likes Moses?
James, you got it up.
I do, but they show Dimples, but I don't think Dimples isn't the one that likes him. Hold on.
Yeah, and
she's the brown
Tia?
skin one.
Yeah,
Tia,
Tia.
brown skin one,
Or Dion.
the dark skin one.
Tia or Dion is the one that likes him.
maybe it's Dion. Though.
It's the darker skin woman.
I know,
anyway,
but
she looks at
their
him.
pictures on IMDb.
She's like,
they don't
she's
have
like,
pictures.
"Is this true? Is this true, Moses? Alien fell out of the sky?" He's just like, "Yeah." And she's like, "And you killed it?" Yeah. I don't know why you always get into trouble, Moses. And then she like gives him like a real hard stare. And then he stares right back. And I was like, damn. But a lot was just said in like
nothing.
In like
no
3 lines and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I understood their whole backstory.
And it's good because he could have been one of those, like, I think what's so interesting about his acting in this movie, which I feel like we never really go into acting, but I feel like what made John Boyega's acting so well and so good is that the fact that he didn't just mope around the movie. Like, yeah, he was supposed to be like kind of brooding, but he was brooding with something that black men don't get to be often, like with a sensitivity to him, like with a weakness to him, with a fear. Like, he wasn't perfect. Like, he was scared of certain things. There's a point where I am convinced he let his friend die. We get to it, but it's like, I'm convinced he lets his friend die out of fear.
And yeah, and I just want to quickly note structurally in the movie, what I like about this particular scene that we're talking about is the scene right before we see them rob and attack that woman, but they're like mostly
they don't hit her. They don't hit her or anything. They just like basically threaten her. They like surround her. John Boyega, Moses like takes out a knife.
He pushes
her, yeah, and he,
yeah, kind of.
And he takes
like
out
takes
right.
her, yeah, and then he kind of grabs the wallet and she runs away.
But there's something that it seems like the movie is also playing with is that like you can't quite tell how old they actually are, right?
They
like
say that at one point in the movie
kinda
too.
like, yeah, and they talk about it, but structurally though, it's like we see them, they're masked. They rob this woman, and then in that scene when they're all like, blah, 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 they're like saying like, "Yeah, I'll be home, mom." Blah blah. They're like talking
that's true.
like kids, and it's like this really.
They all have cell phones, and they're all calling their moms and like being like, "Yeah, I'll be home."
Except for John Boyega, he has no
right, and except for John Boyega, which is why he stands out so much also in that scene as well. So I just wanted to note that.
I mean, it's amazing watching a movie and being like, "Oh, this kid is a star." I mean, because all the kids in this movie were great, but like, I remember watching it. This is my first time watching this movie, and I'm like looking at John Boyega because I heard this movie was such a big deal for him, and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, he emoted so much without speaking words.
One of my favorite parts that he has too is it's a couple scenes later, and I know we probably want to move scene by scene, but it's after he gets the job from Hi-Hats. The drug dealer, he's like, he gives him the job, and then he walks out all like it's almost like he's happy about it, but like trying to hold it in, but he's still also not saying anything.
Oh yeah, but he is happy because they can tell. They're like, he like kind of does this like half smile, like
but then they jump on him, and then he lets the joy show on his face, and I think that like that is one of the most natural moments of the movie. It's like so good,
and then he kind of bends down as they
it's like so okay. But
so hi-hat basically. Well, before this though, we are because Nick Frost is like the one name that's in this movie. If you don't know, Nick, he was in him and Simon Pegg are in like Shaun of the Dead
series, World's End
series.
Well, no, because like what is it? It's Shaun of the Dead,
Hot Fuzz.
It's Hot Fuzz, World's End.
That's
like
it, right?
They're called something. Those three movies are like called a thing.
Oh, are they?
Well, they're all Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. First off, Edgar Wright,
written and directed, right?
Yeah, written and directed by Edgar Wright.
So
awesome.
anyway, so. We kind of we meet Nick Frost, and we also meet that other dude. Who's the other white guy?
Oh, the guy who's like coming just to get drugs. And
and that's the first time they start. He's listening to Sound of the Police, right?
Yeah,
KRS-One. He's just like singing it in his head.
I mean, what is so funny about that too is that when the guys show up, he like takes his headphones and like hides them.
Yeah, he does.
Like, which I mean, I'm thinking he's hiding them because he doesn't want them to. Not that he doesn't want them to hear, but that he doesn't want them to steal it.
Yeah.
Which is like, but he knows them, right?
No, he doesn't know them.
He doesn't know them at that point.
He doesn't know them yet.
But they're going to the same place.
And he knows he's in a bad area because when he meets the woman later on, he's like, he's like, yeah, these blah, blah, blah lives here. She's like, I live here. And he's like, oh. Because
he's like, really?
They're in a bad area.
Right, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, basically he's just this white dude who's like buying pot in the block.
For a party. I think he says like for a party.
For a party. And like he's like, we established that he's like this rich white boy who like is living with his parents,
who shouldn't be here,
who like has his dad's,
not be there,
who has his dad's car, like doesn't have a job, like doesn't, you know what I mean? Like
he shouldn't be there.
He like kind of sells weed a little bit, but he's also like into like he's like he shouldn't be there, but he's also like he's not scared to be there. Like he's scared to be there, but he's also like kind of excited by it too.
Yeah.
Like, and he's listening to rap, and you're just like, all right, this is like they just picture perfect like. White dude who like who's like appropriating black culture, but like actually wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he's like, I just want this weed. I just love y'all music. I love y'all culture. I'm out. Don't rob me.
And he like tries, to like talk to them later on, like, and they're just like, you're a loser, dude. Like they know. And they're not all black. Some of them some
of them are white. They're like
mixed.
a super diverse group. It's like some are white.
Some are dark skin,
Latinos. Yeah, it's like you got a rainbow, rainbow coalition.
Oh, and we also meet the two little kids too.
Probs and Mayhem.
Yeah, they got cool names, bro. I'm sorry, their names
so
are cool.
funny.
I can't remember what their real names are because they say their real names too, but
And
they're like, no, we're Probs and Mayhem.
Probs and Mayhem.
And they hold it down.
They really do.
Yeah. Anyway, this film's great. Okay, wait. So should we talk about what things should we talk about first?
Well, can we talk about John Boyega though a little bit?
A little bit more. I mean, we can.
Well, just in detail because I feel like this movie he was. Wait, I'm trying to memorize it. I think he was. 17 or 18 at the time when it came out.
The character is 15. He's probably like, what, 16, 17?
16, 17. I think it was like 17, 18. And the thing is, to me, that's so important is that, like, what John said is that, like, they don't, like, in the UK, like, they don't produce a bunch of movies like that, especially one with a $13 million budget. And technically, like, at the end of this movie, the first credit you see is John Boyega. So they had a movie that the leads of this movie were brown people.
Brown kids,
all unknowns.
No other movie credits.
And to me, that says a lot. And the mere fact that he stood out so much, and it's not even like, I mean, the other kids are great too. James, what's the kid that's on? He's on.
That's Franz. Franz Dramé. I'm saying his name wrong.
Yeah, he's on Legends of Tomorrow right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
which one is that?
He's the one.
He's the one who
the faux hawk
with the faux hawk and
with the samurai sword.
Yeah, with the samurai sword. And it's like, to me, it's like to see these kids in this movie. Excuse me, and to see John Boyega have a chance just to shine as a black dude who's playing, yes, a thug, but a layered one, and even like the sidekicks he had around him all had something else going on. Like his friends with the glasses, like he was a thug, but he instantly welcomed the woman like when they needed her, and like they were like, she's like, I want to come with you guys. It was a thing. Like, even the bad kid. What's his name again from from Legends of Tomorrow?
Franz. His name in the movie is Dennis.
Like, for instance, Dennis. Dennis is like the douchebag kid, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Dennis douchebag kid. But even Dennis loved his parents. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these kids had layers, and it was so cool to see.
He also lost his dog in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, beginning of the movie.
I mean, you know. He didn't hold his dog down. He let the dog off a leash.
The dog ran away.
No, the dog ran away.
Hey man, he should have held that leash tighter.
He also did the first actually cool thing in the movie.
What was that?
Because so basically they go out, they realize that more of these aliens are coming down. One lands in the park that's right near the block, and they're all hyped because they killed one already. So they're like, let's go kill it. Let's go kill more of them. And they run out to the park. And then that dog runs, and they quickly realize, like, wait a minute, like, that one's bigger.
Yeah, it's super
It's
big.
like a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And like scarier looking than the one that we killed. And then the dog runs, and the dog gets killed, and it starts chasing after them, and they're like, oh shoot. They run away, and then freaking but Moses gets caught by the police, and he gets put in this car. This is what I want to talk about. The first, other than the dog, the first person to die in this movie. Who?
The black cop?
It's a cop.
No, it's a cop. Yeah,
it's the white cop.
It's a white cop that dies first.
White guy dies first.
Oh, is that they're
It's a black cop and a white cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the white cop dies first. The white cop is the one who locks him up in the back. He closes the doors, and right when he closes the doors, he turns around, and blood splats everywhere.
Right.
And then the black cop's like, "Wait, what?" And then he gets taken out.
Oh yeah.
And then so I was just like, "Oh snap! A white person died first in a movie with like a lot of black people." But then, when they try to save him, they throw like fireworks over, and then freaking Dennis has a samurai. They all like grabbed weapons, but Dennis has a samurai sword, and he freaking rides he literally goes, and he's like, whatever the dog's name is, he's like, this is for my dog.
Yeah.
And then he just rides in with a freaking samurai sword. I was like, dude, that's badass.
And the thing is, he had a bunch of swords. Like he had 3 swords. He picked the longest one. Like, I want the
Which is
talk real quick about what their arsenal was, okay? Because it's the weakest group of weapons that you could possibly assemble.
But it's like, no, it makes sense.
I just want to remark on this because later we see the actual good weapon, and it's like, why didn't they think of a good weapon like this? But we have a chain, a bat.
Yeah, bat.
Fireworks.
A bat's not a bad weapon, dude.
Okay, a bat's not a bad weapon.
Fireworks, that came in handy, man.
Right? What you hate? No, the chain, I don't think they use. You can lock up a door so they can't get in with a chain.
A sword, and then we never saw. The sword was. I mean, I feel like, but out of all the weapons, the sword is the one.
Was obviously the sword is the best. It's a freaking.
And then John Boyega didn't bring anything, right?
Wait, no.
He did. Oh wait, no, but
no, he had something. No. He had like a machete kind of knife. Remember?
No, the dude with the glasses had that.
Oh, you're right. The dude with the glasses had the machete.
But who took the gun from Mayhem and
Dennis did.
That's later on. That's
Oh,
later
that's
on.
later.
That's later
Wait,
on.
but
But
no,
anyway,
what
but
did
that's
Boyega grab? He had.
He did have something, but we
Did
didn't
he,
see.
though?
But we didn't see what happened. It wasn't a gun, right? Or was it a gun? Was it a real
wasn't
gun?
a gun.
It wasn't a gun.
I know whatever weapon he had was weak, so he threw it away and took my man's sword. I remember that. I remember whatever he had, he
Yeah, he
threw
had
away.
a weak weapon,
Anyway, I just wanted to go through
and
that arsenal.
they got rid of it real quick.
It was super quick.
Oh,
to
you
get
know
rid
what?
of.
He just had his switchblade.
Right. Okay. So he didn't need to
He
get
had his,
another weapon.
he had a
Yeah.
switchblade.
And then this was the part that made me so mad, though. We just talked about how they were bigger. So, like, watching it again, I'm so mad that it never clicked for me. The first time I saw it, it never clicked for me what they were after or what they wanted. Like,
They were after them.
that they were after, specifically after them because of us. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, but they.
Oh
but
yeah, they do it in the beginning with the TV. They're like the female.
Oh, is that one of the?
It's like
is it?
when he's watching television, he's watching the Nature Channel.
Yeah.
And literally you hear the Nature Channel, and the Nature Channel's like, the female, the male is attracted to the female.
I'm just so mad that
I didn't know
it
that.
didn't occur to me at all the first time. I was like, well, they have to be smelling something, but it was never like, it was never
I
like.
just think
and-
it's smelling them.
But right, but the fact that the first one looks so different than all the others that are
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like so clear, and I'm just like watching it
well,
again. I'm
you know
so
what?
mad
You
that
know
I-
what? When I first saw it, I thought that they knew. I thought somehow they knew that those aliens knew that they killed that one.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't
'Cause-
know
Well,
how,
blood and
but no,
guts-
but that's
the guts
because
was on 'em.
that's what they. That's what they kept saying. They also keep saying like Moses killed the other
killed
one,
him.
and
He forced him here. He made him come
and so
here.
like and they said that a lot.
But then I remember going like, but then why are they going to the weed room?
Yeah.
Because it was the most secure room.
I know, but what I'm saying
why
is
are
the
the-
dead
why are the
the
dead
dead
things
one
gone?
is in the weed room. Like, wouldn't they just go straight to the weed room?
Well,
But they
it
were
was-
actually chasing. They weren't just chasing Moses. They're chasing all of them who got
The
who
guts,
killed them.
the blood on it.
Yeah.
But like, and they don't have eyes. That's another thing where it's just
I
like
didn't
there's so
realize
many
that they
things that are
didn't
like
have
so
eyes.
clear. Where
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
it's like
They
they
actually
don't have
don't. They
eyes,
don't have eyes.
so they have to be traveling by
They're
some.
just pure black monsters
black
with
dot.
teeth.
I just on the second watch, I was just mad at myself for not realizing. Okay, but yeah.
Anyway,
the two
yeah.
police are killed. Sorry.
the police are killed, and yeah. So wait, how do we feel about the whole drug storyline?
See, I have a firm belief, and again, I kind of said at the beginning, I feel like their gooniness, if you will, like them robbing, them dealing drugs, them just being in the drug culture, made them being gruesomely killed more like acceptable.
Yeah.
Only because it made them. Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, they technically weren't good people. If you think about it,
Yeah.
they weren't. They were only trying to save themselves, and it's like it made it. I hate to say it, but it made it okay for them to get like gruesomely killed in a certain way because they were kids.
Yeah, so like I definitely think that that's part of it for sure. And then another thing that you said earlier was that like it also just really blurred the lines.
Yes,
it
definitely.
really blurred the lines of what's right and what's wrong in the movie. And I thought that was so great. It
Yeah.
made it
Yeah,
instead of like just at the beginning them being like kids that were from the block, but they're like fine, but everyone's scared of them for whatever reason. Then like there's too much of a message that the movie is trying to like shove in your face, if that's it, right? But this is like these kids are not
Because they're not
perfect.
bad. They're not like terrible
Yeah.
kids.
No, but they did. But I do
mean,
think
it's
that the argument of one knife and 6 kids against a defenseless woman
She
is a
goes-
good argument.
She goes,
It's like,
they go. Basically, they save the woman while they're saving Moses because she's also in that police car because she like pointed those
and
kids
I
out.
love the moment when she's hiding from the monsters outside, falls up against the window, and then sees him and is also scared of him in the window.
yeah.
That's such
Yeah.
a great moment.
Yeah, because
he's
he
looking at
robbed her at knife point.
But like
Yeah.
there's a monster outside, a monster eating something, but she's just as scared.
Because the monster hasn't
It's so
attacked her
great.
yet. If you
It's
think
so
about
great.
it.
It's-
Moses did.
But yeah,
and it rattled her. There's actually like a great scene like after she gets robbed. We kind of skipped over it, but she like actually like goes to this old woman, like sees her and she's like, oh, you could come to my house, and like gives her tea, and she's like, oh yeah, like she tells her about the whole story, and the old woman's like, pardon my language, but they're monsters, aren't they? And she's like, yeah, they're monsters.
Yeah.
And so like it has this whole thing where she sees them as monsters, and then when real monsters come, she actually like at first doesn't really want to be with them. She runs away again.
Right.
Then they find her in the block as they're running away from these aliens.
Break into her house.
Basically break into her house. They lock the door, and because what's his name got bit. And that's the first time, like, the kid's like, so he gets bit by the alien, he's bleeding, and they're like, all right, and one of them's trapped in a freaking dumpster, and they're like, all right, nurse, she's a nurse, and she's like, you gotta fix them, and they're like, come on, we saved you, we're heroes, and she's like, heroes? Like, six of you with a knife against one woman, like, you think that's a hero? You know, and they're basically like, look, if we knew you lived in the block, we wouldn't have robbed you.
And
she's
I thought
like,
that was great.
Well, that
line was great.
Yeah, man, but that line is so interesting because that is the thing that people in gangs say all the time, where it's like, yo, you cool if you from here. Which is like, it's such a sad thing to think about. It's like,
well, it's
but
tribalism.
it's
it is.
I mean, but here's the thing.
It is.
So, like, this movie said a lot about, inner city youth and gangs and like that kind of culture without actually preaching about anything.
Yes.
And it basically was like, one of the things to me that it was saying was like, people, these people are so disenfranchised as it is that the only thing they can do is stick together because they're like, look, we're all in this together, so we will band together. And if you are not with us, you must be against us because they feel that the world is against them. They clearly feel the world is against them. They never want to call the cops. After all this stuff is happening, it's like literal aliens are attacking and killing people left and right, and they still are more afraid of the police than they are of these aliens.
Well, but it's also like
cops.
but the other thing about that is amazing about this movie is aliens have landed, attacked, and have been killing people. But the only cops we see on the block are like just there to find them, right? Like it's just the people that are in this search party looking for.
Okay,
them.
let me ask you a question. When y'all were brought up, were y'all told to ask if you needed help or something? Were you told to ask the cops for help? If you needed, say for instance, like you were taught to ask the cops for help.
I was. Like, that's what was taught to kids, yes, but it was never like, I never had a situation where my mom ever said to me, like, if you're ever in trouble, go to a policeman.
I was never told to go to a cop for help.
Yeah.
Even to this day, I probably still wouldn't go to a cop for help.
Yeah.
Especially not here in New York City.
I mean, cops scare me.
Like, they terrify me. And the thing is, like, I've been stopped there, for instance, like, in this movie, for instance, if these kids were at one point to be like, say they're in the heat of it, right? They got like the samurai sword. Or say, screw that. I'm gonna make it even lighter. So they have no weapons. They run up on a cop like, "Hey man, there's something attacking us."
The cops would arrest them immediately.
Immediately they would. Well,
but also because there's already like an APB out for them, for people that fit their description.
Right, because they robbed a woman earlier. So like, and then, but what's great about it too is that like they are so concerned about that they're like, no matter what, the cops are going to pin everything on us. They're going to pin this on us. They're going to pin that on us.
And that came to fruition.
True, and that's what happened.
That's what happens.
So the aliens come. They it literally breaks through the door of her house. Moses kills one with the samurai sword, and they're like, "Damn, Moses." They go up to they go upstairs to the girls' room because the girls have a locked door, like a gate, and then. This is the first time. See, I got to be honest with you, though. You're saying, like, oh, they did that to set an expectation of, like, we can accept these kids dying. I did it. When I first saw this movie, I did not think any kid was going to die.
So
like, there is a rule in horror films that, like, children don't die. Like,
what's so funny about that is that those black kids, to me, I instantly thought of the real world. A black child is, oh my God, I'm about to get so deep. A black child is not a child. A black child is an adult. Black child that does anything will always be tried as an adult. And that black child at that point becomes an adult, which means if it was a horror movie and it was a teen that was like 18 to 20, which is like a young adult, they can be killed.
But they're not. They're younger than
but what I'm saying is there are kids nowadays who like, There are kids nowadays who are tried as adults, who are black, who are under the age of 15 on a regular basis.
Yes.
But a mere fact, if people don't know why they're tried as adults.
Yes. And I think that's definitely parts of the themes that they're playing with of what is their age and how do we look at them. But I will say that I was also at the beginning of this movie going, oh, these kids are going to be fine. This will be great. These kids are going to be fine. The moment that
you've seen deaths, you saw two cops die, you saw the gangster's friend die, and you're like, okay, like there's a death count, a tally has been, a blood price has been paid almost.
Yeah.
Like not everybody, and one kid got bitten.
Well,
so
that was the moment for me where I was like, oh, nobody's safe.
When he got bitten?
Yes, because it was early enough in the movie and the bite was so gruesome. It wasn't just like he got scratched or whatever. It was like, that kid
down.
Yeah, that kid.
Can I honestly say the moment they robbed that white woman, I'm like, oh, some of them gonna die. I instantly thought they were gonna die because they did an act that is so looked down upon. Which, I mean, robbing anyone is terrible, but doing that act is so it's so hood, it's so urban to me. Like, they weren't kids anymore.
But they were, and also they weren't, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They weren't kids.
Like,
at that
to
point.
them, even to themselves, they are.
Yeah,
but we were reminded of their childhood,
right? And that's
constantly throughout the movie.
Again, the beauty of this movie.
Oh, the other thing that the other small detail that I really loved was because when I was in London, when I studied abroad, I had a cell phone, and I
studied abroad,
and I did the same thing. I had the same thing that they did. Like, you put money on your phone to get credit.
Oh, yeah.
And then it runs out. Like, I remember running out of text messages. So I remember when they were like, I only got one text. This is too much madness to explain in one text. I was like, yo, that's so funny to me. Like, this is, so basically the aliens like break through. Oh no, there are 3 aliens at the door, and he has a gun. He's like, all right. He's like, you can't take them all out. He's like, watch me. Pop, pop, pop. And he realizes he's like, oh, shoot, it was a toy gun. And they just all break in and tackle him. And he's like, Moses, help me. And Moses is just like,
he's scared.
He has the knife. He has
with the samurai sword. And doesn't move. And like, kind of like, almost like you could tell he wants to, and he just
bite
doesn't.
The man's head off.
And then they just
helmet,
bite the helmet, crunch it down, and then rip it off.
And also, I was
just like, holy crap!
I have to give credit to this movie for finding a great way to rip somebody's head off without having to do some crazy prosthetic.
Yeah,
like
he
put on the helmet right before, and then just seeing the helmet fly was all we needed to see.
Yeah.
Like, great
filmmaking. You didn't see the head at all. It was
that is
smart.
Great filmmaking.
So smart. I mean, the thing is
and then
Woo! I mean, this movie was so good.
When they killed him like that, I was like, damn.
Well, they got him.
Definitely wasn't expecting.
What's my man with the glasses?
Jerome.
Jerome got
right. Well,
Jerome got the worst. Jerome got the worst.
The other two got right. The hi-hat has like 2 other thugs with them who don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And then they're shooting after him, and then this one comes to attack them, and they're like, and they're like in the elevator, they're pressing the close button, and right before it closes, the alien jumps in, the door is closed, and they're like,
You just hear screaming and gunshots.
And gunshots. So those 2 die, but Hi-Hat doesn't.
Hi-Hat didn't.
And and then
in the elevator, Hi-Hat
pushed them both in front of him.
Shot the dudes dead, put them in front of him, and then shot the he did some shady.
You definitely know he did. But my thing is when they killed my man Jerome was the innocent, like the one who was the nicest, the glasses, the one who was said what his name was to the woman immediately, the one who was like, oh no, without her being a nurse, was like trying to keep her around. My man got the worst death to me, bro.
Yeah.
It was the scariest
the
death.
Scariest and probably the most gruesome for the
He was just
kids.
like walking, and then the dude was like, they're right behind us, run, and he kind of, for whatever reason, just spins around and then spins around again, and then he just gets disoriented.
He does not know where he is.
And then he trips, falls, loses his knife.
And and
then they just take him, and then you literally have a shot where he's like, Moses, and Moses turns around just to see him getting dragged back.
Yeah, I think it's Percy that sees him.
No,
right?
No. Moses turns around. Moses is at the door.
Who does he grabs?
He grabs someone else. He grabs purse.
Oh, okay.
But Moses at the door.
The
Moses,
first time we see him is when.
yeah,
Oh goodness.
Moses
Oh.
at the door. So Moses turns and sees him, and it's like
And he's just getting dragged off, and then we see
And then
literally see him
later
get
we
ripped.
see him get
ripped apart.
ripped apart.
Didn't they rip his face off?
Yeah, they ripped
Yeah.
his face off.
Yeah.
This movie is great. It
Jerome.
goes there, and you do not think like because it's so
Jerome.
lighthearted and funny.
Yeah, man. It takes it.
So, are you a little bit mad that like 2 of the black kids died, but not?
Did any of the white kids? There was only one white kid, right?
Well, there's the one white kid, and then there's there's Nick Frost, the white pot dude, and the white
Wait,
woman. And
wait,
none of them died.
Yeah, none of the white
Wait.
hoodlums
None of the white people died?
None of the white hoodlums.
So
died.
none of the white
Hope
hoodlums
did
died.
I can't remember. Did the white dude, the drug dealer?
No.
Wait a second.
Now, 2 white people do die in the movie. It's the cop,
No,
the
no,
first
John.
one that died.
No, John.
And then
They don't count, John.
the one white dude who's with high hat.
No.
I mean,
Let's reroute.
I mean, no, but like, no, really.
Let's
like,
play this back.
No, really.
The white woman lived.
I think it's pretty even as far as white people.
No,
black people
you
ratio.
stop it.
No.
What I'm
There's more
simply
black
saying
people
is-
that died.
Well, they're
for
like
sure.
3 black people
Because
die
there's a black
and 2
cop
white people
that
die.
there's a black cop.
There's a black cop.
There's 2 black goons who died,
Yep.
plus high hat, plus the 2 kids. So 6 black people die and 2 white people die.
But you know what?
And there were 3 white characters.
And there are 3 white main
Four,
characters.
four, if you
4
include
white
the white
main
kid.
characters who live.
But you know what?
Oh.
Here's the thing.
And none of the
Here's the thing.
2 main black characters who actually 3 main
My
black
man
characters who
got
died.
bit in the leg and
One
he
isn't
still
even.
didn't die.
This is the thing I have to say. How much do you really care about the white people that lived?
I don't care, James.
No. What kind of effect did you have seeing the black people die in this movie?
If there was a horror movie,
I think it's good
if
storytelling.
there was a horror movie right now and someone bit you in the leg,
Well, if that woman died, it would have been pretty horrible.
Yes,
But she
true.
had to stay alive for the end of the movie.
Yeah, she had to stay alive for the.
don't get me started on her character.
I would have been upset if Nick Frost's
You
character
didn't like
died.
her character?
I did, but don't get me started.
Okay.
Please get
I
started.
mean,
Don't
get started.
Don't get me started.
I-
We're trying
No,
to have an
get started.
interesting, fun podcast like you.
no,
this is
no.
what you
I'm
need
not
to-
having fun. We here to be real.
Okay, then be real
yeah,
with
be
this.
real about it.
All right, I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm not skipping ahead.
We've
I'm
already
very
jumped
upset,
around.
but I'm upset. This
I mean,
movie
we're
did
almost
not.
at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but I'm upset. This movie did not have a swirl. Because
oh, snap.
and I'm not doing the swirl right now, but I'm very like watching this movie. I became very upset that it didn't have a swirl, and I understand he's a kid. I totally get it.
I mean, he was 15
but no,
years
but,
old.
but she didn't know that to the very end.
So,
But
yeah,
there's a
we go
comment at the
in-
very
I'm just
end.
saying you're just mad there wasn't
Whoa,
statutory,
time out.
just straight
No,
statutory
time
rape.
out. She didn't know. She thought he was older. So my thing is, this is that classic movie of like, oh, I thought he was a bad person.
But she
I
did.
agree.
We knew the audience.
No,
knew.
we knew, but she didn't. I'm saying
Okay.
she didn't know how old he was. So in her mind, he was like an of-age kid. But the whole point is that this is that movie where it's like, oh, he's a bad guy. He's a rebel. He's a.
Gerard,
he's,
you
hold
really
on.
mad there was no swirl in this movie? Is this
mad.
genuine?
I'm legit mad. I'm gonna tell you why. Because if this would have been like a white dude who'd have been like, if this would have been Channing Tatum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which happens and wasn't Step Up. He's a thug. You know what I'm saying? Like Channing Tatum's like he's a whole time.
Just say step up.
I'm trying to think of movies he's a thug in. If it was a thug with a
Did he
heart, dude-
rob somebody, the same person he had sex with and
let
step
me
up?
finish.
Let him finish.
Okay, if this movie is about thug, right?
Okay.
All of a sudden, like you realize throughout this movie, oh, he does care about people. He does want to save somebody. He does want to be a good person. And even at a point where she's like, Moses, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to go out here and risk your life for anybody. That is the moment, if any other movie where the two beings realize that I was wrong about you, I'm sorry for what I did. Oh, we can get along, and like I think I love you. This
Let's
is the
fuck
I
in the
love
back
you
of this
moment.
paddy wagon real quick.
The thing is, not even that, but it's the moment of like, that's the moment where like someone gets the longing kiss of like, oh, you're about to go risk your life for us.
Yes.
Go out here, like I'm gonna get this kiss.
That's
My
true.
man didn't get a hug. It was a cutaway. The cutaway happened. She running out, and next thing you know, he in here about to go save, like risk his life.
Yeah,
My
so
man
he goes-
John Boyega ain't get a kiss from a white woman in a movie
I
yet.
mean, that's true. Let's not.
Come
get
on,
started
man.
on
Star Wars.
But
Come-
don't start me on Star Wars. But
I'm sorry, he's a
when
15-year-old
he walked
kid in this.
She
in this
didn't
movie,
know,
I don't-
though.
in
She
this movie,
didn't
you're
know.
ridiculous. So basically, the way that she finds out is like we actually enter all of the kids' homes except for John Boyega's home, which was like kind of weird when it first happened. You're like, huh, why didn't we get to see inside his home? We saw inside everybody else's, and then at the end, when she enters his home, she realizes she's like, wait, who else lives here? And he's like, my uncle. He's like, where is he? He's like, well, like he comes and goes. He mostly goes.
Yeah, he mostly goes. Yeah.
And then she sees like Spider-Man bed sheets, and
Yeah.
she's like, oh, you have a little brother? And he's like, no.
He's a kid.
And she's like, wait, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 15. She's like, oh, you look old.
Yeah, she thought he was an adult,
Yeah.
which means he could have got a longing kiss.
Okay. Anyway.
If Luke and Leia could kiss each other without knowing their brother
Also,
and sister, my man can't get a kiss
I
for
just want to
saving
say
the
one
day.
of my favorite lines is after they figure out it's pheromones that are all on them. Like they see, like they're in the weed room and there's a black light and they realize, oh shoot, it's the pheromones of the woman. The one that we killed first was a female. It got its pheromones on us. That's why these males are attacking us. Which actually also meant they really were stopping an alien invasion.
Yeah.
Because if they breed it, there would have been even more of those things.
Yeah.
And they actually
but they
would have
technically already stopped it, right? Like they just needed
By
to,
killing the woman, they did.
right by killing the woman. The invasion itself. The invasion itself was already thwarted from the beginning, but it's just a matter of like.
and then they stopped the
Then
males.
they stopped the males from,
killing some more folk. But anyway, so they realize like, oh, if you don't have any of this on you, they won't see you. And so the plan is for her to walk out, go to Boyega's Moses's room, turn on all the gas, and then he'll lead them there and blow them up. But when she's walking out, Nick Frost's character like opens the door and he's like, "Is it safe?" And she's like, she just shakes her head no, and he's like, "Okay then."
And closes the door.
And he closed the door.
But also,
I thought that was so funny.
John Boyega he spoke so little in this movie, which was so cool to me. Like he was Mad Max. If you think about it, he
Mad
only
Max.
spoke when he needed to.
He's a black Mad Max.
He was Mad Max, bruh. Like my man,
Black Max.
My man had a slow motion shot, which first and only time they ever did do in movies is like when he's in the weed room, and the woman's like in his apartment, and she's like, "It's cool to come down." The gas is all lit. My man kicks the door open with an alien on his back, his pocket knife and a sword.
Alien on his back.
he's got a sword, the firework,
That's what it is. Firecracker. But the thing is, he jumps
alien on his back.
for no reason. My man jumps.
It's true.
He literally
He
just jumps
for no
through the
reason.
door.
I was like, why did you jump?
Why'd you jump?
What were you
Because it
jumping?
looked badass.
It did.
And when as he's landing, he shoots off whatever. I'm like, bruh.
Also, he never uses the sword either.
At no point.
At no point uses the sword, and also unhooks the female. And I was like, why did you have it on your back to begin with? None of it made sense,
Well, no,
but
he
it
had
looked cool as hell.
He had it on the back so that they would
Chase him because he took the blood off him. Remember, he took his shirt off.
He took his shirt off.
He took his shirt off.
So he had it on the back to lead. I mean, it was just that whole last sequence was the most badass thing.
I mean, it looked cool as
like
hell.
it was so cool.
The other cool thing that happened in this movie is those two little kids. They have a super soaker, and they're
Okay.
like, "Oh, what are you gonna wet them to death?" And they're like, "It's not water.
not
is
water.
it? Is it?"
And they start
And
laughing.
we don't know what it is.
And then and I was like, "Is it acid?"
And I was like, what they got in this super soaker?
And then later on, it's freaking lighter fluid gasoline or whatever, and they soak this water, and then just throw a firework and light it on fire.
So here's my point that I
Mayhem.
brought up before, but then we don't realize it until later.
Uh-oh.
But that's a weapon. I mean, like, if you're gonna fight some aliens, you get gasoline or something.
Nah, man, that's a dumb weapon. I don't want that weapon.
The little kids who they were shitting on the whole movie had the only good weapon.
My thing is, that's a long range weapon that you needed a lot to work out for it to happen.
That's true.
You needed a lot to work
No,
out.
I would rather have a
all
bat.
you
Give
need
me a
with some
bat or a sword.
gasoline, though. All you need.
What you need is a FUBAR. Hey, to all my zombie
all
fans
right.
out there,
All
you know what the
you
FUBAR
need
is.
a FUBAR.
The FUBAR is, I'm dead serious. Braylock is going to be judging me so hard. The FUBAR is literally a crowbar that has a blade on the end.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate zombie weapon.
Yeah.
Gives you distance and it's precise. It's quiet, which is why you shouldn't have a gun during alien attacks or zombie attacks because the guns bring more of them, but you keep a sword.
They all had parts of what makes a FUBAR useful, but they didn't have a FUBAR.
They didn't have a FUBAR.
So what they needed to have otherwise was super soakers filled with lighter fuel. I mean, like just.
But this
just
movie ends after John Boyega saves the day. After Moses saves the day, he gets arrested.
Yes.
And so do the weed dealers. To be fair, the white woman doesn't. And
They didn't even look at her to arrest her.
I know they didn't even question it.
They didn't need to.
So, and the white kid doesn't either.
Nope. He's outside.
One of the
car.
white kids gets arrested. The three.
Yeah, that's true. One of the white kids.
The three drug dudes weren't they all?
But one of them. Oh,
Yeah,
the
that's
one
true.
that
The
was in
kid
the
gets
trash
arrested.
can is the one who's like he saved the day.
He's the one.
Yeah. They all get arrested.
Yeah,
White people
But they
get arrested in this
so
movie.
they all get
That's
they all get put in the cop car. All right, I guess
It means
I'm
it's
just
equal.
saying,
It means it's equal.
they
Everyone.
all get put in the cop car.
Everyone equal.
But then the dude is like, Moses, Moses, and then the whole crowd, the whole block, starts chanting Moses.
Moses.
And then he's like, "You hear that, Moses? They're chanting your name." And he just like does a little smirk.
And he waits for it too. The beauty of it is that's what the longest
He's like,
deserve.
yeah.
His head is down the
It's
whole time
my
they're
block
chanting
now.
it.
It's my block.
That movie, man.
Cool.
John Boyega had that was such a good role, man.
Yeah,
he did so well in it. It was such a good
He
role.
definitely shines in it, and it's great. It's great that to also see like a young, like see him start young,
Yeah.
you know, and be getting even more and more attention, like because that is just
The one thing
we don't
that's-
always see that.
What's so dope about John Boyega is I've heard him talk about where he's from, but he's from like a not so good area. And I'm about to skip and talk about Star Wars, but one of the best things about seeing him during the red carpets of Star Wars is that he brought his block with him.
Oh,
like,
snap.
So it's like if you see him on the red carpet, like he had all of his boys, and they would be like just geeking out. The fact that he was just some of them were people from Attack the Block, and it was like he'd just be geeking out with people on the block, and it just felt so genuine because like, oh, this kid is making a movie about the block, and he probably is from the block.
And like, so this movie, the lead is like a freaking kid from the hood who's getting caught up in a bad life, but like redeems himself. So much so that at the end, the woman is like, even though he's getting arrested, the woman's like, listen, like he didn't kill those people. Like he saved me. He saved me.
But what brought it all home for me was she also said, "No, that's my neighbor.
That's my neighbor.
Yeah.
That's my neighbor."
Yeah.
And it was just like,
That's my neighbor.
oh, like it just brought it all together.
They
in
grew.
such a great way.
And like she got, there is a part just to go back to, we did skip over where Moses is like, they're just like, oh, what the hell is happening? And he's like, I bet the government is the one who like
I remember
sent
that.
those wolves out, sent
Yeah.
those things out
Yeah.
for us. And they're like, we're not killing each other. First they brought in drugs, then they brought in guns, and now they brought in these things. We're not killing each other fast enough, and they want to quick it up.
How deep is that shit though?
Yeah, it's so deep.
Like how often because think about it, man. Think about it honestly though.
Yeah.
Black people in the hood didn't have connects just willy nilly, like in these drug
Drugs start pouring in.
Like who has a connect for AK-47s out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Like who set that connect
I mean,
up?
that's
man?
one of my favorite parts of Straight Outta Compton when they're just at the press conference
Yeah.
and they're just like, I've never been to any of those places. You know what I mean?
I've never been there.
It's like,
The marijuana falls on the ground? Is it bagged up?
No, it's a pile. It's a pile, like a coke pile, but it's a marijuana pile,
pile,
like a
marijuana.
coke pile.
Gross.
It's like a pile of marijuana. This is the weed room where they like bagging it up.
I
They got
just
the plants,
don't.
man.
They gotta bag it up.
Wait, it's just
Anyway,
a pile of buds?
I mean, they got buzzers. They
why?
gotta sell the weed.
But they.
Hey, what is happening?
I just.
You know what I'm saying, ladies? Pleasing. John is so bad.
I unsubscribe.
Real quick though, before we move on to something else,
What?
the movie Leprechaun in the Hood,
No.
Good movie.
starring Ice-T.
We doing that for Halloween. I stamp it right now.
Starring Ice-T.
I stamp it right now.
Starring Ice-T.
He's just in the movie.
starring Ice-T.
It stars the
God.
Leprechaun, bruh.
It stars.
But even
Leprechaun is
the
in the hood.
even the other people who bring the Leprechaun back isn't Ice-T's like it's just in the movie.
All right.
Man, that movie's dumb. I hate
Hey,
you both
hey,
for
But I'm
bringing
just
that
saying,
up.
it's something supernatural in the hood.
All right,
in the
I
hood.
understand.
I'm
I
just saying
understand.
it's in the.
I think
it's
that's
on the block.
Oh yeah, we never talked about why we think this movie didn't get seen. I think that's the reason why.
I think because it was a hood thing.
You know what it was too, though. I read is that apparently theaters in the U.S. were afraid that audiences wouldn't understand the London slang.
Shaun the Dead had came out by the time this movie came out.
I mean, that
Exactly.
stuff does happen.
Hot buzz.
But
Exactly.
Oh, so what you can I clarify for a second, Jonathan
Yep.
Braylock? So what you're saying to me and to the audience at home is that American theaters thought that people wouldn't be able to relate to this movie
Correct.
because of
the reason that they used was because of the London slang and the London references.
I mean, do we like Shaun of the Dead? I like Shaun of the Dead. Does anyone else here like Shaun of the Dead?
I like Shaun of the Dead.
I like Shaun of the Dead.
People like Shaun of the Dead. They got that movie, so they can't get the movie with the brown folk in it.
I like Hot Fuzz.
You like Hot Fuzz, right? Because it's an action movie.
I like World's End.
What? You like? Wait. No, James.
I
You can't like these movies.
That one was okay for me.
I thought it was okay too.
I'm just saying that I
get what you're.
I'm just saying that I watched those.
No,
movies.
but you understood what was going on.
And I understood everything from beginning to end. And
I saw Spice World, and I liked it too.
I'm saying I've been watching S Club
What?
7
When
since
did what?
2000.
Well, Spice World. We like Spice World. You know what I'm saying? Because it's taking place in London.
All right. Anyway, so moving on. It's time for the cause.
I know how this is going.
We rate films not based on how well we like them, but whether or not they help the cause of more leading black actors in Hollywood.
Simple, easy.
Black fist means it fully helped the cause.
Help the cause.
White palm means it was so-so.
It was hard.
So
Nothing means it. Yo.
You ain't worth nothing.
you ain't worth not one thing.
I kind of said that a second ago.
Also, this
I
movie
know, I
cost
was just trying
13
to
million pounds to make. It made about $5 million.
$5 million.
Okay, so that's something.
Just so you know. All right, ready? Here we go.
I'm gonna keep
on
my
the
eyes
count
open
of
for
3.
this.
That's weird.
I know it's so weird.
1, 2, 3.
3 fists. We knew that was happening.
I mean, 3 fists.
We knew that was happening.
I mean, let's be real about this.
Speak your mind, brother. I thought
Attack
you
the
wanna go
Block.
first.
I mean, it is the simplest of equations.
right?
Attack the Block gave us John Boyega.
Yes, it did.
John Boyega is now the star
That's right.
of one of the biggest franchises of all time.
He's talking about Star Wars, y'all. He's talking about Star Wars.
I tell you, according to rumors, Boyega did not do well at his audition for Star Wars.
He said it himself.
However, Abrams cast him anyway.
That's not a rumor.
I can guarantee you that Abrams would not have. I can 100% guarantee you Boyega would never have been casted if he wasn't in Attack the Block.
J.J. Abrams produced Attack of the Block.
Attack of the Block.
So,
Attack of the Block.
boom, shaka. Also, Boyega's career is going to be way more popping than Nick Frost's career.
Oh, he threw shade.
That's not saying anything to. That's not dissing Nick Frost. Nick Frost is great. I love Nick Frost, but I'm just saying, when do you ever see that? Huh?
That's right. Hey, can my man John Boyega get a swirl, though? You think in his Emma Watson movie he going to get a swirl?
Listen, he was 15. There's no need for a swirl in this movie.
Whoa,
I like how this
I'm-
movie talked about race. Anyway, you're talking about later on. Yeah,
I mean, like in a movie. I mean,
Oh
like,
yeah.
Can he get a
needs
swirl
one.
at some point?
he should have. He should get one. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. There's nothing else need to be said.
You want to go? I mean, I'll go. Like, to me, like John says, like, we got John Boyega. We got, again, it's so funny we're bringing up another movie that's not this movie. But Finn was originally written for a white guy. They didn't find a white guy they liked. Who they find? John Boyega, and they got Daisy. A woman. So like this movie helped break down barriers. It was like the starting blocks. He was on the track, he got down and took off. That's what happened. And not only did he talk about race in this movie in a great way, but you saw, this is the thing, we talk about this sometimes, is like you have movies with people from urban areas and they're not presented as people. This movie showed them at their worst technically, which is like robbing people, but then also showed them at their best, which was saving the block. He saved the block. Come on, y'all.
Best believe,
Didn't
fam.
just save the
He
block.
saved the block.
The world.
And he
Saved
did
the
it,
world.
son.
And he didn't do it. He said his line is,
Saved
"I
the block.
started this mess, and I have to finish. I have to start when I finish." And it's like, you know what, bro? You grew up. You said, "I started this. I'm gonna finish this mess," and he did. He jumped out of a window like John McClane, bro. He jumped out of a window like John McClane, the greatest action hero ever created in cinema. That's all I got for y'all. Drop a bomb on these, mother. You gonna drop a bomb, Jay?
I mean, I hope this is a bomb.
Okay, do it.
I gave this movie a fist for all the reasons my boy said just now, right?
Can I hype you
But
up?
I also want to throw in there, we got my boy Franz. He plays Jefferson / Firestorm on Legends of Tomorrow.
That's right. CW.
Okay.
Superhero.
We've been talking all night about how this movie deals with race, but I just want to say a couple moments that we didn't talk about that I freaking love.
Number one.
All right. They sitting there inside of Sam's apartment, and she is like freaking out. She's like, I'm going to scream. I'm going to do that. And then my boy Jerome says, there's worse things out there to be scared of than us tonight. Trust.
Trust.
Truth bomb.
Okay.
Number two.
This grown woman still in the same scene.
Okay, this is kind of 1.5.
She says, she has like fuck. She says like that back and forth. And then the two dudes are like, you got a potty mouth, man. You need to watch your mouth. That's just a funny time. Okay.
Number two.
That
your
part
mouth
is great. Okay. And then there's the part at the end when they're like, you don't have no weapons. You don't have no weapons. It's like, and they're like, yeah. What you just describing this alien invasion sounds like just another day in the block. It's like, what? Alien invasions is like what it's like to have just another day in the
That
block.
means the man
He
keeps
said,
you
wait.
down, and you fighting for your life every day.
He said, wait, we have to look over our back and we might have to engage into a fight. Pfft, yo, I'm from the block.
That's just another day on the block. And then, okay, there's a few more, but I'm just
Number
going to
three.
skip
Give
to
us
the
number-
last one.
Oh,
Skip to
we
the last
skipping
one.
to number 10.
We already said it before.
Number 10.
But at the end of the movie, Sam says, they're like, we got attacked, those boys. And they're like, the cops are ready to arrest them. Are you sure it was them? And she's like, no. They're my neighbors.
Oh, my goodness. Say it one more time, James.
They're my neighbors.
One more time, James.
They're my neighbors.
That means
They protected
That
me.
means they live next door, and they're basically the neighborhood watch. Neighbors look out for neighbors. Neighbors take care of neighbors. And at that point, they were just people living on the block.
And that's humanity. It's not about the block. It's not about London. It's not about aliens. It's about human beings being human beings together and
A
recognizing that
basic
we
human
all
level.
on this earth doing the same thing, just trying to survive. And that's what this movie is about.
I
That's
feel
why I gave
moved.
this movie a fist.
I feel moved.
3 black fists.
3 black fists.
1 second, actually. 3 black fists.
3 black.
3 black fists.
3 black fists.
3.
3 black fists,
Three.
Mom.
Mom.
I said
3 black
mom
fists.
instead of
3.
bruv.
3 black
In my
fists,
mind,
bruv.
I was saying
I said
bruv,
bruv.
but then I said
You said bruv?
Anyway,
You said bruv?
enough of this.
Bruv?
Also, slight apologies for screaming in your ear.
No, we got passionate. They felt
did get
it.
passionate.
Y'all feel the passion right
Attack
now.
the Block. Go watch it. Rent it. It is worth renting.
What are you singing?
there ain't no party like an ass club party. I'll show you how.
What are you doing?
Oh my God!
Everybody
Is this...
get down
no,
tonight.
please. No.
What are you doing?
This episode can't end like this.
Stop,
No.
no, stop it. Stop singing. No.
No.
Cool bitches get.
No, Nick, end the episode. No. All right, it's time for some plugs.
Plug y'all.
All right, so Black Man Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, blackmanpodcast.com is our website.
Right?
Also, you should rate and review us on iTunes, please. It actually helps a lot.
It really, really does.
It really
guys.
does. So leave us 5-star rating.
Yeah, nothing below that because we only know 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Bray?
I know what you're talking about.
5 stars, baby.
Beep, 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 beep. Also, please keep tweeting at us. Oh, I want to shout out.
Who you trying to shout out?
Dude, a dude who lives in Afghanistan.
What?
Tweeted at us. Listener.
What?
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Afghanistan.
Dude. Kabul, I believe, is the city. Amazing.
Yeah, man. What's up, bro?
He asked that we do Whiskey Foxtrot, the Tina Fey movie.
Oh, the Tina Fey movie?
But I was like,
Whiskey 5-Star Tango?
I was like, I don't know.
I don't know if we could do that.
We got she all white. He's
Yeah,
like,
no.
yes, I know. And I was like, but I don't know.
Oh,
but
cause
we might have a new. Anyway, never
Oh,
mind.
no, we might have a new seg. Braylock's working on a new seg, y'all.
Yeah. Okay. And then personally, John Braylock at John Braylock on Twitter, Facebook. I mean, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Honestly, I'm not gonna. Don't friend me on Facebook. I will not accept it.
You need to have a friend in common, like 20.
Yeah. No. My number is like 200.
That's smart. That's smart.
And then johnbraylock.com for some show dates and stuff like that. And yeah, we coming into DCM, Del Close Marathon if you're in New York. Also, James Third.
Yeah, James Third.
James Third comedy.
And James Third.
Yeah,
You know,
he keeps missing these plugs. So.
Yeah, man, he does stuff, and it's like, I mean, he doesn't leave us notes, so it's like
James
whatever.
3RD comedy.
Yeah,
You know, on all social media platforms.
Yeah, and it's 3RD. He doesn't spell it James Third or anything.
Yeah.
So you
Check
can
him
find it. You can find me at Jerah Milligan on Twitter, Instagram, Jerah M on Snapchat, and again, check MTV News out for like hits and all that kind of stuff. And come to Del Close Marathon. And invite us to y'all schools and stuff. We trying to do some school shows, man. I'm trying to go visit, like, I don't know. I'm trying to go to like Miami or like Atlanta or something.
Okay, and next week we have a special guest.
Oh yeah,
Francesca Ramsey, and we are reviewing the film.
We're your dream girls.
We have a
I forgot the rest.
family.
Is that, no, that's not it, is it?
I know, that's another song.
It's your dream girls, boy. That's what they say, right?
Yeah, something like that.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Y'all seen it.
Y'all
If not,
seen it.
go watch it
Starring
again.
Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Foxx.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Don't say brain.
Next week. See y'all. Peace.
That was a HeadGum podcast.